Hello and welcome to Warblog. What we're looking at today is this Quneitra province scenario, Syria, Middle East. This is sort of now. Maybe I should stop putting the months in there or something. So essentially, it's quite an interesting situation, which is why I've done it. Now, the whole point of this is that what we have is the Syrian Arab Army here. Maybe I should put a few more units on for them, but it's not really a sort of game that you play. Basically attacking the territory held by Hayat Tahrir al-Sham and their pals, the Free Syrian Army. And as you can see, they've got a little enclave there, and then they've got this sort of block of things here. But the thing is, it sort of goes like that and around here. I'll get my little magical thing out. Now this area here is controlled by ISIS, who don't look anything like Tahrir al-Tahrir Sham, whatever they're called. So, and the thing that sort of gets me is they're right there on the border with Israel and Jordan, and they presumably they've been there for absolutely ages. And so, what? Now the thing is, the two objectives here is Al-Hamidiya and Al-Baath City. Now I don't know where they are actually. It sort of states these. I've put them there. They could be elsewhere. They could be up here, or I sort of think, I don't know, maybe it makes sense that they're there. Now, just as a little aside, this is the Golan Heights. I'm not sure how well I've done the mountain sort of areas, but the Golan Heights actually has this UNDOF DMZ, which is demilitarized zone, based on the sort of, it's been fought over a few times. It's quite complex, but this is sort of like a demilitarized zone. And I was just sort of wondering how well the ISIS people sort of, accept that. Now this is a lot thinner down here, but because I've got hexes, I've decided to do it like that. It gets a bit fatter over here, this top section. So we got these UNDOF units, and they pretty much sort of control. They go up and down, making sure that everything is in order. You can look at them up on the Wikipedia, and it will give you a bit of an idea. They don't do anything. They're non-combatants, as are the Lebanese troops here, the Jordanian troops here, and the Israeli troops. However, what's happening is that what we're assuming here is that the Syrian army is pushing in this direction, and that involves firing their artillery. Now, what Israel is saying is that when they were firing their artillery, some of the shells went over into the Golan Heights where the Israeli units are, and in response to that, the Israeli forces have deployed their air force against the Syrian Arab Army. There's also some other articles that indicate that they've also basically fired, and I don't know how they could fire other than with, say, artillery. So now I'm not saying Israel is on the side of Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, although lots of people would say they were, but it's similar with the US one, where the US players seem to be using his air power to support ISIS. They're only in here because they are on the opposing side, so it's not really sort of suggesting they're fighting for them. As I said, some people could say that, but because they're active, they have to be. There's only two players in this game. They're not non-combatants. So these Israeli units are non-combatants and they're not involved. So they're down here. It means that you can't move them. You can't do anything with them. But in order to replicate what they do, that they are on the Hayat Tahrir al-Sham side, which is quite humorous, really, when you consider everything. Not that it is funny, but because obviously it looks like they are. You can't get away with it. Can't get away without sort of looking at the bleeding obvious, and whatever. So, so they've got these fighter planes, and so basically. As the still got these. As the Syrian Army advance, let me get my tool out again. As they advance, the Israelis are bombing them, or shelling them, in theory, possibly, I'm not certain of that, but also moving their air power in. Let's make it so it doesn't look like a Christmas tree. Their air power into units like that, etc. So that is basically what this scenario is about. But the sort of spin-off on that is that I didn't really realise what this DMZ was all about, and I also know a bit about the Golan Heights, but it's quite interesting to just see how it all meshes together. I'm not even going to bother moving any units. I might end this sort of fairly quickly, but I'm pretty pleased with this map. We've got so much sort of going on here. We've got Jordan. I've put some little Jordanian units in there. I'm not sure whether they would be there, but we've got ISIS. I just keep coming up with these ideas. It's like a basket of vipers. We've got every protagonist other than the Russians, the Turks, and the Americans in there. We've got now these are Hezbollah units because I'm not sure whether Lebanon has an army or whether it would be there, and I only had Hezbollah units in my folder, so I just put them in there. So they're sort of like frowning at the Israelis, and the Israelis are sort of not so keen on them. And then, it's like an old Western gunfight. You put out one of those little sort of musical watches. When it stops, you can see who shoots who. I'm pretty sure it's maybe a lot clearer than that. But putting this map together, it's sort of there are so many interesting sort of things. How close it is to these borders. The Golan Height issue, the fact that we've got ISIS down here. Who appear to be a completely separate force to the Hayat al-Sham units, who are with the Free Syrian Army. And of course they've got a thing against they've got a border with these UN units as well, etc., etc. So I'm not going to bother playing it because I haven't designed this for it to be played. Although if you do want to play it, essentially the main force is there. I've put a huge stack of Syrian units, so you could then choose what to do with them. Pretty obviously you'll probably do something like that because the two objectives are there and there. As I said, I don't know where the objectives really are, but I sort of thought I'd put them somewhere close to the Israeli part of the Golan Heights, so that you could put the artillery into range. Now they do have 4 range. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, so they can hit that objective and that objective, and also 1, 2, 3, 4, and they've got quite a radius of what they can actually hit, as well as the air power. So it could be an interesting game, but it's not really designed to be a game in that sense. It's just the map and the situation that I just really wanted to highlight. So I'm going to leave it at that. So less than 10 minutes. What a miracle. But if you want to play it, you can sign up and you can play it and have lots of fun. Okay, well, I'll leave it at that and speak to you later. Cheers. Bye.